Good day, good day, good day, wealth managers, business owners, and entrepreneurs. Thank you for joining me for yet another little fireside chat. Today's message is actually really exciting. I think you're going to get a lot out of this one if you're in business or hope to be. And this message is all about perspective, right? And in particular, I'm just going to deal with one industry, and the industry is real estate. And what we're going to talk about today in real estate for real estate professionals, and this goes out to lenders, to realtors, to insurance folks, to title company people, what have you. Because we are in a market where people believe so deeply that this market is in recession, I need to push back on that idea. I need to push back that even if technically the market and the country is in recession, the question is your business really in recession? And what do I mean by that? Well, the first thing I want to start with is data. Data always tells us where we are, where we're going, and what is going on, right? And so I want to look back at a few years of data, and I want everybody who is in real estate in any way, shape, or form, I want you to ask the question, Mark, what you're talking about, what does it have to do with me? So let's start with some raw numbers. I am in the state of Maryland. And in the state of Maryland, in 2015, 115,151 residential real estate transactions took place. In 2016, 115,439 transactions took place. In 2017, 116,701 transactions took place. In 2018, 117,924 transactions took place. In 2019, the year before the pandemic, 120,676 transactions took place. In the year 2020, 112,372 transactions took place. In 2021, 122,287 transactions took place. And in 2022, 101,860 transactions took place. Now, Mark, why are you reading us this data? Well, I would ask all of my real estate professionals, whether you are a realtor, whether you are a mortgage banker, whether you are an insurance person who offers home insurance, whether you are a appraiser, all these people that revolve around, to include title companies, all these people that revolve around real estate transactions, those are the numbers from 2015 to 2022, right? Now, my question to you is, during those years, how many transactions did you do? And statistically, let me tell you what the national data says. The national data says that the average real estate agent does no more than 2 to 3 transactions a year, right? And so I don't know if, as you're watching this, are you average? Are you 2 to 3 transactions a year? Are you 20 or 30? Are you 50 transactions, right? Because here's the other thing. There's a law of large numbers that says something very simple, and it is the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule says that 80% of the transactions are actually done by 20% of the people. So when you hear numbers like 100,000 transactions being done, know that 80,000 of those transactions are being done by the top 20% of real estate agents, right? Now, in the state of Maryland, there are tens of thousands of agents. So what you know is that, and I'll just use this number. If there are 10,000 agents, 2,000 of those agents are doing those 80,000 transactions. And the rest, the other 80% of agents is doing the 20%, right? And so I would suggest to you that what you have to do to be successful is you have to, one, get yourself into that 80%, and you have to follow what those 80% are doing. If you're not doing what the 80% are doing, you are not going to get the reward that the 80% are getting. And I can tell you, aside from the tactic, the way that they're doing it, those 80% are making more offers and making themselves more available to people who are looking to involve themselves in real estate transactions. If you are not doing that, you are not going to get into the 80%. You are not going to get whatever you might consider your fair share of the 100,000 transactions that are being done. And so as a result, when you're doing 2 or 3 transactions a year, 10 transactions a year, 30 transactions a year, there is no such thing as a recession. There is no such thing as a slow market. You haven't done enough activity. You haven't marketed effectively enough for you to know whether the market is slowing down or not. It's not slowing down for you. You are operating in slow mode. You are operating with a deficiency in your marketing. You are making too few offers to the marketplace. The marketplace doesn't know that you exist. Statistically, they say that every single person knows at least 2 people a year that are going to participate in a real estate transaction. That rule of thumb does not say anything about this being true in when there's a boom, but it's not true in a recession. It just says that every year, everybody knows at least 2 people that participate in a real estate transaction. And so if you are not making offers, making yourself seen, appealing to people who are in the market for your product consistently, you are not going to hit those numbers, and you are going to be in the 80% that has to split up the 20% of the transactions. And so your numbers are going to be low. If you want to be in the 20% that is going to take advantage of 80% of the transactions, you have to be a super strong marketer. You have to be in front of people who are actually looking, not people who you're trying to convince to look, people you're trying to convince to do a transaction. That's not who you need to be in front of. You need to be in front of people who already have an inclination and are already in the marketplace looking for representation, looking for the product or service that you offer. And I would submit to you that most people most business owners are absolutely positively not even in the marketplace. And so when the television comes on and says we're in a recession, we actually take that information and we lump ourselves in with the mass recession and say, man, things are slow because it's a recession. No, it's not. Things are slow because you're a bad marketer. Things are slow because you're an ineffective marketer. Things are slow because you're a non-existent marketer. And so for as long as you leave yourself in the position where you are not marketing, where you are not appealing to the customer that's looking for the product, you are always going to have poor results. You are going to have poor results in a good market. You are going to have poor results in a bad market. You're going to have poor results in an okay market. Why? Because you are simply not taking advantage of the marketplace. And so I want everyone to really be honest with themselves. If you're in the real estate market, go back and look at those years that I spoke of, 2015 through 2022. Look at the average 115, 116,000 transactions that got done in the state for each of those years. Some of those years were good years. Some of those years, according to television, were bad years. But all of the years were between 115,000 transactions and 122,000 transactions. So there was no massive fall off in any of that time. So with that being said, how many of those transactions, when you go back and you look at those years, how many of those transactions were yours? And if you're not satisfied with the number of transactions in real estate that were yours, then you know that there was something that you didn't do. And the first thing you have to do is take possession of the idea and take onus that there is something that I did not do. I was not making enough offers to the marketplace to offer my product, service, and expertise in the marketplace so that I could get a fair number of those transactions. The market would not change in the world if you got 50 of those transactions a year, 100 of those transactions a year, 150 of those transactions a year. It would not change for anybody but you. And so if you are serious, and you have to look at your numbers and be honest with yourself to say whether you are truly serious. If your numbers are low with all of this business being done, go and look at your activity. How many people are being touched every day by your organization? How many offers for service are you making? How closely are you studying your intended target and making sure that your product or service offering is in front of that intended target? If you're not doing those things, if your business isn't touching 100 to 200 people a day, if it's not touching 1,000 people a week or greater, right, then this is why you're not hitting your numbers. And when you hear that, you should get excited. You should get excited to know that there's a real reason you're not hitting your numbers, because that is where you start. That is where you build yourself up. And with all the available tools that we have here in this marketplace, whether it's direct contact, direct mail, whether it's telemarketing, whether it's AI, I mean, there are so many ways to put yourself directly in front of your intended target consistently every single day and get your fair share of the business being done. Also, if you're not doing everything you can to put yourself in front of your intended targets, a lot of your comrades in business who are in the same occupation as you, and also the complementary services. If you're a realtor, I bet you your mortgage broker isn't doing everything they could do. I bet you your insurance person isn't doing everything they could do. I bet you your title company isn't doing everything they could do. So there are opportunities even in that to be able to develop a plan that works, and then to get into relationship with the other people who profit from the transactions that you drive, and work together to be more consistent, to make more offers in the marketplace. I hope this idea does not fall on deaf ears. And even if you are not in the real estate business, I want you to really look at your industry, whatever it is. You could be a plumber, you could be a carpenter, you could be an engineer, you could be a mechanic, you could be in any field of endeavor in any business. And what I just said and the number of transactions taking place in your field in and around you every day is still applicable. Ask yourself the question, and then let's start to build a platform and to figure out, how can I consistently with my business touch hundreds or thousands of people a day directly where I am actually offering my product or service and making more offers so that I can use the law of large numbers to get my fair share and percentage of the offers that I make, and then let that move me into the 20% that is doing the 80% of business in my field. I hope this message finds you well. I hope you got something from it. This is Mark Fuller, Manager of Wealth. And share this with your entrepreneurial friends. Share this with your friends in real estate. Share this with people who are looking to grow. All of our conversations are to help you grow and to take responsibility for growing your enterprise and being able to 10x your capital and your resources so that you can basically get yourself to economic security and grow a solid business. Thank you so much. Like, comment, and share, and I'll see you soon.